so this is my first time being a survivor and speaking about it, so please forgive me if I'm not very good at this. I was diagnosed with stage 3 metastatic melanoma in October of 2007 at the age of 45. At that time, had no clue what melanoma was. The dermatologist removed a mole on my back, called me, I'm his teacher, called me at school and said, I'm sorry to tell you, you have melanoma. No idea what he was telling me at that time. He said, do you know a surgeon? I said, no, I've really never been sick, ever. So he said, okay, I'll give you a name of someone I know, and the ball began. The summer prior to that, I had noticed a mole on the back of my right shoulder, and I had gone to my family doctor and asked, what do you think? Is this something I should be worried about? She said, no, we're just gonna watch it, and if it looks worse next time, we'll do something about it. Luckily, I wasn't comfortable with that. It bothered me, and so I have a brother who's a dentist and a sister who's a nurse, so in August we were all together as a family, and I showed it to them and I said, what do you think? This bothers me. And they both looked at me and they said, you get to a dermatologist now. Of course, when you call a dermatologist, you don't get in now. So 3 months later, I got in. And he said, oh, it's nothing. We'll take it off, but it's nothing. And then I received the phone call. I'm sorry to tell you that it's melanoma. And so I guess the one thing I want to tell you is listen to yourself. And if you have something that's bothering you and that you don't feel is right, listen. Because I just couldn't, even though the doctor had said this is nothing, it bothered me. And so, and I don't blame her, she, had no malicious intent or anything, but there was close to 6 months probably from the time I went till the time I had my surgery, and that could have been the difference, maybe not, but you don't know, between stage 2 and stage 3, which is a huge difference in your treatment and a huge difference in your prognosis for beating it. So I had the surgery. He came out of surgery and my mom and my husband were there, and he said, we got it all, everything looks great, it's done. And we were all like, whew. And then a week later, I got a phone call at home in the evening saying, I found some microbursts of cancer in one of the lymph nodes. You're gonna have to come back in for more surgery. So, made plans to do that, but then after talking with my family and everything, we decided that I needed some more opinions. So I went 3 different places for opinions, got 3 totally different opinions, not remotely close. At this point, I am thoroughly overwhelmed. I have no way of knowing what the right choice is. Probably totally in denial, because I'd never been sick. This couldn't be happening to me, kind of a thing. So I ended up going to Denver to the University of Colorado, and there I was inpatient, hospitalized for a week of 5 different chemotherapies delivered at the same time. I remember nothing besides getting my PICC line of that week. Once they started my chemo, I was totally out of it for the entire week. I have 3 daughters. My husband stayed home with our daughters, and my mom and dad took me to Colorado for my treatment. Don't remember coming home. Don't remember anything. That was in December, right before Christmas, because I insisted on being home for Christmas to be with my girls. Don't remember Christmas, so that wasn't much of a good decision. Ended up back in the hospital on Christmas Day, and I almost died because the chemo was so toxic that I was bleeding out my nose and my mouth. I couldn't get any fluid. I was very dehydrated. My kidneys went down to functioning below 40%. The chemo had just been too toxic. I was supposed to do 4 rounds of that, of getting a week in the hospital, 3 weeks out, go back, do it again. Decided that wasn't the way to go for me. So and it was too hard to be away from my family, to be in Colorado and to have them here, and I needed to be with them. So I decided to stay home and continue treatment here. So I did a year of interferon, which for the first 30 days is every single day. for 30 days, except the weekends, and then it's a year of 3 shots a week, which I did myself in my stomach, so that was over 450 shots that I did. And then other than the interferon, I it took my blood count down so badly that then I would have to take white blood cell shots on the weekends. So I was doing 5 shots a week, continuous, so I never got a break for that entire year. So I had to quit teaching, it was an incredibly tough time. And then they just thought that it had moved to my liver, and after one of my scans, and if that had been the case, I would have been gone. I would have had at the most 7 months at that time. So then we went to Houston, so I've been all over, and got a good report so I have been in remission for 1 year. My first affiliation with Relay for Life was through our church. They always have had a team for years and years, and I would walk, and I was never a huge part of it. I would just go give my hour and walk, and as I would walk, I would get real teary looking at all the luminaries around the track and feeling so badly for all the people it had affected. Now I'm on the other side of it. The first year that after my cancer diagnosis, when I went to the relay, I was so sick I didn't see any of my luminaries that people had made for me. Last year I got to see them all, and I actually got to walk around the track. The first year that I went, I did the survivor lap, and that was the best I could do, and that was wiped me out. But now I am back to work, and I am so very, very, very grateful for all of you for giving your time and giving your money and supporting the Relay for Life, and giving those of us who have been through this hope that cures can be found before it returns, or because my prognosis still is not awesome with melanoma. The prognosis is not great. So I just pray that the cures will keep coming as the time goes on, and that I'll be able to see my daughters get married and my grandchildren and all those things that are so important for me. So I've just learned to be so very grateful for a beautiful sunrise, and for a breeze in my face, and all of the things that I always took for granted before when I just walk out of the grocery store. I'm just grateful that I could do that, because for a year and a half I could not. It was just too much to even do things like that. So I just try to keep a sense of hope going, try to keep my mind at peace as much as I can. And again, I just thank you all so much for your help and your hope and your prayers and all of the things that you do to help support this cause, because for those of us who've been there, it's a very incredible thing, and we're very, very grateful for all of you.